Hello everybody, I am the Worm, and welcome back to Danganronpa V3. We are on the eve of the second trial. Yes. And so I am, of course, excited as well as nervous. I don't think that's a surprise, we talked about it last time. And, let's head inside. Let's get to where we see our truth bullets. Or what is it? It's just kind of the prep screen where you can choose abilities and all that stuff. Let's get to there, and then we will have our little talk, our pre-trial strategizing about what might be going on here. I think that's a good idea. Let's do that. Okay, we are all here.
Everyone!
Well, as ready as I can be, Kibo. Thanks for asking.
What? Don't worry. Hey!
Wait. Either way.
Well, that... Gotta say... Okay, we'll get to it.
That's right.
Kokichi kind of just threw me off there at the beginning, but let's do this.
You're right.
Okay, if I remember right, clicking the statue moves us along here. Let's get everyone's final thoughts.
All right!
Hmm?
Oh?
Why aren't I using... I forget to switch over to the controller every now and then. Okay. Yeah, I'll admit, Himiko actually wasn't really on my radar, but we'll get into that discussion.
Certainly.
If I would say initial red herring suspect, I would actually go well. Okay, I see why.
No.
And I suppose it's just more of a proximity thing. Just she happened to be supposedly closest to Ryoma when he was in the tank there. Alright. Let's get everyone's thoughts on record. She would probably be sad.
Do you agree?
I agree, Kurumi.
Really?
Thanks, Miyu. Where would we be without you?
Well...
Maki, you're an interesting... Oh, I'm gonna talk about you. You're an interesting case this time around.
Say.
Well, considering that the mono... What are those dang things called? Monopads. Considering it was missing, then that would seem to imply those mixed motives could be part of it.
If so...
Jeez.
Right?
Okay. Maybe getting a bit into some of the themes going on with this case.
Listen up. Okay.
Hey! Kazatua is watching.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's everyone. Let's go ahead and advance. Advance on, party. Must gather your party before adventuring forth. Alrighty. Let's get in there. Only the beginning.
Welcome!
Hi, Monokuma.
Wonderful.
What are you saying?
They're so cute. Oh? Hmm?
I mean, there is precedent for that.
Hey,
Well, that's certainly quite the thing to say. Definitely worrying coming from Monokuma's mouth. But I guess we're just gonna ignore that and hope he's lying, or not telling, you're just, you know, messing with us. Yeah, he said he was jealous of us. And that's partially, I think, I did go back and sort of skimmed the earlier episodes. And that was partially, I think, the reason why he wanted us to share our motive videos, because he was curious what would be his motive, what would be his reason to either live or to kill. Well, I'm glad that Shuichi seems to have gained some footing. Hopefully that can last. 1 second. Okay. Here we are. I have a lot of slots. Okay, let me just think about this for a second. Increase time limit. I might want that. That's something that's... yeah, in all parts of the class trial, that could be good. Decreases delay after using truth bullets or truth blades. Oh, you know what? I think I like that, actually. Because I did notice there were times where I was trying to shoot again or something, and I couldn't. Fever time. What is fever time again? I don't remember. Oh, I only have 7 fragments. Well, okay. Guess we're not buying anything. Okay, let's have our talk here. Here's our truth bullets. So we'll go over each of these, but first... so, as I said, I went back over the beginnings of this section. Chapter 2, I suppose. So, one thing I'm not sure about, there was... over the course of the chapter, of course... I'm repeating myself too much. There were a lot of things that were introduced this chapter. And I don't know which things are going to be relevant to this particular trial versus being relevant towards the overall story that's going on here. So, case in point, this chapter started with Gonta discovering something in the fields outside. It was a stone, and on it was written Horse A. Now, at the present moment, I have no idea what that refers to, and no one seemed to have any idea. And that feels like that's going to be something that's not related to this trial. And so, there are a few things that... so, another thing, we know that Kibo has this audio recording feature of his, but I don't think we ever got a truth bullet regarding that. Yeah, we did not. So, in that case, that sounds like it's just sort of setting up for something in the future rather than being relevant now. So, in those instances, I have to try and filter what might be relevant, what might not be. Okay, so let's, how do we want to do this? How do I want to do this? Well, let's just start with, who are my prime suspects? Himiko was not one of them, funnily enough. Kokichi just threw me off, but after he said it, I realized, okay, I can see that being, an early, I mean, what did, what's her name? What did Tsumugi say? She said throw out a red herring. She was kind of closest to the action, so I can see why she would be immediately suspected. And so that leads me to think the first part of this trial is going to be, well, I don't think we're going to set out to prove her innocence, or show her innocence, but we're going to end up doing that through the deconstruction of her whole magic trick, which turned out to be much more simple, or seems to be much more simple than I thought it could be. We know that the tank in her magic lab had a little hatch that one could, you know, go out of. And we did see that there was a puddle of water on the side of that tank. So, she probably very simply went out that hatch. Now, there was the panel on the floor. I don't know what that's for. I don't think the tank in the lab had one of those. So, yeah. Not entirely sure what the difference there is. So that's all to say. I think she'll be suspected at first. We'll clear her. So who are my suspects after that? Well, I have 2 main suspects, and then I have a couple potential others. So it's Kokichi and it's Kaito. Those are my 2 prime suspects at this point. And if you sat me down and forced me to say which, if you had to pick one, it would probably be Kaito at the moment. And that makes me very sad to say. And then a couple others that I think potentially could be suspects, but I'm much less confident about, would be Angie, Maki. Least of all would probably be Kibo. And that's just because he sort of helped out moving stuff around. But I think that's probably it. So, in order of suspicion, Kaito, Kokichi, Angie, Maki, Kibo. Those are my list of suspects in order of greatest suspicion to least suspicion. Okay, so, yeah. With Kaito, for one, he has been suspiciously absent in a lot of key moments here. Both at the night when we had our insect escapade with Gonta, as well as during the actual magic show. Yeah, okay, so people who were absent during the magic show. It was Kaito, it was Kokichi, it was Maki, and it might have just been those 3, I think. So, clearly, all 3 instantly have some manner of suspicion. But then, of course, we got the whole thing is, what was the time of death? That was obviously the key to this whole thing, so if he was killed last night, all that sort of stuff. I don't know, it's just... Okay. I was gonna say a few other things, but here's the thing that strikes me as odd if Kaito ends up being the guy. We just saw, as we were walking into the elevator, he gave us this little thing where it says, you can't give up, you have to keep going, or something like that. I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but thematically, it feels like Kaide had good intentions. Well, it's hard to say murder and put it in the same sentence as good intentions, but we know what her intention was for us to be okay, and then she passed on her wish to the rest of us. It feels, if Kaito's the guy, it feels like it would be similar to that, and that's kind of what makes me hesitate a bit. I mean, so there's the whole thing with he was upset at Ryoma for saying, you know, he doesn't have a will to live, and apparently he was also in the tennis clubs, so he was upset. He was especially upset because of that. And then we had that whole thing where we started to do nightly exercises, and then the game just said, right after it said, it was, what was it? It was a monologue by Shuichi from the future, is what it sounded like, where he said, and just when I learned to trust someone, I learned I shouldn't trust anyone, or something like that. I don't know, it all feels pointing towards his direction. And beyond him just being absent, we also know that he helped move all of the tank and the stuff, and so, and set up the magic show, so presumably he's kind of aware how everything was situated when he then... I don't know, man. Sorry, the more I talk about this, the more I don't like it. course... I don't know, okay. Okay, let's just move on. Kokichi, you know, there was that whole hour where he was... What was it? He went to get our motivation videos, and he was apparently stopped by Karumi, and for an entire hour was lectured at, and then they played hide and seek. But then, crucially, there's an hour after that where he is... we don't know where he was or what he was doing, although at some point during that hour, we know that he did get the mono pads and brought them to the lab. Maki's a bit of an enigma right now. She's dealing with her lab, or whatever's within her lab. The only thing that makes her really suspicious is that, you know, she just was not around during the show. And so she technically had some opportunity, but considering she's always been in that lab, I think we can believe that she was just, she's obsessed with something in there, so she was presumably just there, so I'm not that serious about her. Angie, I'm just kind of upset with. And we know that the piranhas were her idea, and so that's kind of that whole thing. But what makes me doubt, though, is that... Well, because what I was going to wait till we get to the truth bullets, but my idea for the trick is it's going to be something like... Ryoma was drowned in his lab, and then got... The culprit constructed some kind of zip line, and I guess put him, as part of the zip line, put him in that tire, and, you know, then he was able to get, then he's, you know, zip lined all the way down into the, across the pool, and then through the window into the piranha tank. But the thing is, she was at the show, so she would, if it was timed precisely for the show, it seems like it's a whole nother level of complicated if she was somehow able to construct all that to have it go off while she wasn't around or something like that. So I don't know. And of course, she said there was a few. And again, if she's the culprit, then of course she's going to say whatever she can to throw us off. But she did say, who was it that said that the piranha tank had way more piranhas than? I think it was her. She said the piranhas were much less, or there were many more than she remembers being put in there originally. Also, I just noticed it says she dislikes humidity. That seems surprising to me. Okay, sorry, that was random. Kibo, again, honestly, I don't really at all. It's just because he helped with the setup, but that's pretty much it. It's not that serious. It's just by that token, I guess Karumi too, but she didn't mess with the tank. She just did the curtains. I don't know. Maybe the game's gonna. Maybe they'll do another switcheroo. Maybe it was Shuichi the whole time, and then we'll move. Kaito will be our main character. Okay, let's actually just. I feel like I'm starting to ramble. Let's look at the files, the truth bullets, and give ourselves a one last reminder before heading in there. Thanks. Some people did remind me. Ryoma was definitely part of the people who wanted to share. I remember, I think an episode or two back, I asked about that, but I think I mentioned that I remembered that. And we know why. The reason, once I remembered that we know why he wanted to share the motives. And yes, Kokichi, I did wonder if Kokichi had seen all the motives, but it does seem that he wanted to share them all with us all together, which is, you know, what he was doing with Gonta, having him gather everyone, which is interesting. And there was one other thing that I was reminded of. What was it? Oh, I've lost it. Just remembered it and now I lost it again. Ah, shucks. Okay. Dang it. That's very frustrating. I may remember it in a little while. Okay, let's just go through these. Monokuma File 2, the victim is Ultimate Tennis Pro Ryoma Hoshi. The victim's body was discovered in the gym. Cause of death was drowning. Afterwards, the victim's body was consumed by the piranhas until only the bones remained. That's not true. His belongings were still there, including the key and the... I guess they only ate the flesh. So, a bit misleading, but fairly accurate. No time of death, of course. Gonta's account. During the magic show, when the timer hit 20 seconds, Gonta went up to the top of the stage. No one was in the tank during that time. Gonta didn't notice Ryoma inside the tank until after the piranhas were released. Makes me think that Ryoma was... I guess part of the reason that the piranhas could have been stuffed in there was that so that when Ryoma got tossed into the tank, he sat on top of them rather than actually falling into a tank where he would then be eaten. So maybe the piranhas were packed so tightly that, you know, they couldn't really move or maneuver that much, and so they created a surface for Ryoma to lay upon. If that's the case, then maybe he was up there. Maybe it didn't have to be timed exactly as the show was going on. Maybe he could have been placed there earlier. That's something to think about, maybe. But anyway, the thought goes that then the tank opened up, the piranhas fell, and Ryoma being on top of the piranhas also fell. That's when he saw him. Oh my, look at that. That's useful. Okay, the night before, Shuichi and some of the others were forced to stay in the Ultimate Entomologist's lab by Gonta, who was tricked by Kokichi. Himiko and Angie were brought in 5 minutes to 9 p.m. Kokichi left the lab at 9 p.m. Shuichi and the others were forced to participate in the insect meet and greet until after 11 p.m. Okay, and then they have this visual for us here. So here at 8 p.m., those are the people that were there. Increase that by Angie and Himiko at 8:55. That was a long time. And then, of course, from 9 to 11, that's when Kokichi was gone. We know that from 9 to 10, he was being lectured at and playing hide and seek. And then the following hour, not entirely sure, but we know he got the monopads and then came back. Okay, behind the stairs that led up to the stage, there was a puddle. The stairs themselves were not wet in certain places. It doesn't seem like the stairs could have gotten wet when the water tank broke. So presumably the hatch is somewhere around here. I don't know if it's camouflaged or just not, you know, it's not obvious that there's a hatch. But I'm thinking this is where Himiko just left the tank through the hatch. We got some rope there. Rope. Used for the trick, or for the magic trick, or the murder trick? Not sure. Okay, piranha tank. The water tank that had the piranhas inside, it was kept in the Ultimate Magician's lab. It was carried over by Kaito, Kibo, Himiko, and Angie. I think someone mentioned that... Well, I think I said originally that I was somewhat... I sounded a bit incredulous that Kaito and Kibo were able to carry over the tank, because it seemed very large. Of course, this here says Kaito, Kibo, Himiko, and Angie, so 4 people. Still seemed very large. But then someone mentioned or reminded me that they said they used pulleys. I mean, I sort of get that, but I don't know. It's still quite a distance from the lab to the gym. And even then, the hallway gets kind of narrow at places. Well, clearly they did it. The tank is in the gym, so they were able to do it. But it wasn't a big deal. It just seemed quite a feat. During the magic show, it was hung over the water escape tank, using the control panel for the stage lights. Only the front side was made out of glass. The other sides were made out of wood. It looked like there was no lid from the start. Yep, goes along to the idea that Ryoma got slipped into there on top, maybe. Okay, the window frame on the top window in the... Excuse me. The window frame of the top window in the gym, it had distinct abrasions, as if it was scratched by something. There was the same distinct abrasions on the window frame of the Ultimate Tennis Pro's lab window. The window faced the pool and the gym. So, I'm thinking some kind of rope or cable. If we're thinking... Oh, you know what? I think I can visualize it much better using this picture. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm thinking rope or cable and some kind of zip line. That's what I think those abrasions are. I don't know why I was having difficulty visualizing that before. I don't have a... Hang on, if I tab out and tab back in, I don't know if you can see the mouse here, but yeah, you can see it from up there, so I can visualize that much better with that there. Okay. Scratched handcuffs. Locked handcuffs that were in the water tank for the Underwater Escape Act. Since it was made out of stainless steel, it was difficult to leave any marks, but small scratches were still visible. It seems to have been taken out of the shower room in the Ultimate Tennis Pro's lab. Okay. Crammed piranhas. The piranhas that ate Ryoma before... excuse me. Before the magic show, Angie said it looked like there were more piranhas compared to when she prepared for the... Well, okay. Wake up, wake up. Read better, okay. Before the magic show, Angie said it looked like there were more piranhas compared to when she prepared for the show the night before. Yes. A square glass pane that was at the bottom of the piranha tank where Ryoma's body had appeared. The other bits of glass were shattered, but this pane remained perfectly square. Not sure about this. I don't know if this is the hatch or something else. Yeah, don't know. Okay, water tank trick. Hatch near the top that opens the water escape tank. Koichi's account. Immediately after Koichi left the Ultimate Entomologist lab at 9 p.m. last night, he was caught by crewmate at the entrance in the hall, stayed there until 10 p.m. After he went to the dorms, returned to the Ultimate Entomologist lab at 11 p.m. Does it take an hour to do all that? Saw the figure of a girl in lingerie wandering around the courtyard a few times. Really? I know he said he saw a girl. I thought he said she was just, wearing less clothes. I don't remember him specifically saying lingerie. That's interesting. Anyway, yeah, I would have preferred if Kurumi had attested to this, but I think what's gonna happen is Himiko's gonna get suspected first, then Kokichi, and then probably Kaito or something, unless I'm completely wrong and it's someone else entirely. But I don't think that's a big issue. I think Kurumi's probably going to confirm it while we're in the trial, so. Witnessing Ryoma, the last person who saw Ryoma was Gonta. It was around 8 p.m. last night. Miyu also saw Ryoma 30 minutes before that. So Shuichi also saw Ryoma around then. Maki alone. Maki was standing guard in front of her lab last night. She stayed in her dorm room only during the nighttime. Yeah, she said she went to take a shower, I think. So we don't have anyone else to confirm that, but with how she's been acting lately, I'm willing to believe her. Unless it's gonna be some crazy thing where she started doing that so that we would believe her when she said that. But I don't think it's gonna go that far, so yeah. Scratched sink in the Ultimate Tennis Pros lab. It looked large enough to fill a good amount of water into it. There's small scratches on it as if scraped by something. I think this might be where Ryoma drowned, or where he was drowned. And maybe the small scratches are from, I don't know, maybe he was handcuffed then, and maybe that's where the scratches on the handcuff are from. They both have scratched in the name. That's why. May as well say that. Tennis net cable. Found on the grab in the Ultimate Tennis Pros lab. The tennis net cable was properly set up when Shuichi came to the lab the first time around, but the wire had been taken out later. The wire was around 50 feet in length. So, yeah, this, rather than a rope, probably this was used for the zip line. We got the pool. Shuichi was able to get the exact pool length, like the dimensions of the pool at one point, but I can't specifically remember what they are. But I'm thinking this is probably what it was for. Black piece of fabric that was floating in the pool at first glance. It looked like trash. I don't know, maybe a piece of Ryoma's clothes. And maybe that's gonna I mean, the culprit wanted Ryoma to be eaten by the piranhas, and that included his clothes, right? So maybe that was part of the reasoning. I don't know. Pool rules. Entering the pool at night is prohibited during nighttime. Yeah. Not a surprise. I can't remember if it was Monokuma or one of the Monokubs that said something like, but that only counts if you're alive, or maybe they hinted at that. So I'm not sure how that matches up with everything exactly. Because if my thoughts are correct, Ryoma was already dead as he went across the zip line. But he wouldn't have been swimming. It doesn't say you can. It doesn't say the pool area. It says swimming. So you could. The building itself, you're allowed to enter, right? I think that makes sense. It's just you're not allowed to get into the water and swim. But if Ryoma is already dead at that time, then it doesn't matter. I think it's going to be something like that, but I'm not entirely sure how we're going to get to there. Yeah. Okay. I think that's most things I wanted to talk about with this. The thing is, it's just... If Kaito's the guy, it feels too similar to Kaide before, because it's like another person we're friendly with. And I mean, is it gonna be something like Kaito's actually a malicious character? That feels too much. I don't know. It feels. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. Okay, let me take a quick break, and when I come back, we will start the trial. I'm gonna do this all in one session, but it's not gonna be necessarily. Well, it won't be one episode. I'm gonna cut it into episodes, but it's all gonna be one session for me, one recording session. So I'm gonna take a break real quick, and then we'll actually get started with the trial proper. Or you know what? We're getting on. Oh, is it too mean? Is it too mean to stop the recording now? I was thinking maybe 2 episodes, but you know what? Okay, let me take a break. I'll have an extra long episode. I think that'll be nicer. Because I think if I stop it here, that'll be too much of a tease. Okay, let me pause. I'll think about it for a bit. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Back from my break, ready to continue, and to not keep you in suspense. Yes, we will be continuing on in this episode. I did remember a few things I wanted to mention. One. I do want to... Okay, this probably isn't that likely, but possibility that I recalled during the break. There was... Remember, back in the first chapter, Ryoma did say he would potentially be willing to sacrifice his life for the rest of us. So maybe in terms of a motive and the reasons why he was killed, maybe he offered something like that. Now, of course, he was in handcuffs, and if he was offering, you'd have to wonder why they'd have to go through something like that. So I don't think so, actually, but I did want to keep that possibility in mind. And one more thing before starting. For the sake of transparency, I want to let you all know I have received a hint about something. So, I learned, I should say, that from the first trial that there is such a thing as the lie mechanic. And in this game, lying can unlock different, essentially you can do the trial in a bit of a different way if you do the lie. So, maybe you're able to... Obviously the trials will probably end the same way, but it's kind of a different route if you do the lie. And so I received a hint, and well, I am very much doubtful of my ability to do that, to be able to figure out when I'm supposed to use a lie. Yeah, maybe I should give myself more credit, but in any case, I have received a hint regarding when to use the lie. Now, this is kind of conditional, though, because one, I have to recognize... when, when the hint presents itself, I have to recognize it. And second, even if I do recognize that this is an opportunity to lie, I still have to figure out, which truth bullet to use and at which statement. So I've received a hint about the whole lying thing, but I'm still a bit. I don't rate my chances very highly that I'm going to be able to pull this off, but we'll see. We'll see. We're not in tutorial land anymore, so this will probably be the first big first real test for me. And of course, it's actually been a little while since the first trial, so I have to remember all the controls again. Okay. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Let's stop messing around and actually start this thing. Here we go.
Now then, let's begin with the basic explanation of the class trial.
Oh my goodness, they even have a X'd out portrait for the blue guy. Mono Kid.
During the trial, you'll present your arguments for who the culprit is, and vote for who done it. Vote correctly, and only the blackened will be punished. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will graduate from this academy. Also, refusing to vote will result in your death, so you better vote for someone. Now, let's get this crazy awesome to the max trial underway!
I think we all know who the most suspicious one is. It's...
Let's combine our power and work together, everyone!
The person who's most suspicious is...
Now lend me your energy, everyone, so we can catch the culprit!
Because the murder happened during the magic show, the culprit can only be...
Hey-ya! I'm in top form today!
Okay, I can already see an issue here, Kokichi. You're claiming the murder happened during the magic show. That is not, by any means, something we can be sure about.
Tenko, why are you interrupting me? We can't have a good trial if you talk over me.
But you are also... This is also true.
Huh? I'm not interrupting you!
I'm never going to get used to that face, Tenko. Every time I see that, you just... It's like it's like you're hitting me in the face. With your face. Just... Ugh.
Whatever you have to say is probably worthless anyway, because all males want to talk about is S.E. Himiko seems suspicious.
Wow. Stone cold. Gotta say. How do we get a read on Angie here? She was the one... Himiko obviously was stressed out at an emotional point. And that's when she joined up with Angie doing her Atua thing. And Angie encouraged her. And whose idea was it first to do a magic show? Was it Himiko, or did Angie suggest it? But either way, Angie definitely encouraged her and assisted her in setting up the magic show. And wow, just immediately into the trial, Angie just tosses this out. My goodness.
Hey! Angie, how can you accuse Himiko? Aren't you her friend? I'm just telling you what Atua is telling me. He is using his divine knowledge to show us the way to survive. You should thank him, lest he pour his holy wrath upon you all. Screw Atua! That guy's got nothing on me. I'll protect Himiko!
But it does point to Himiko being the most suspicious.
Ryoma died during Himiko's magic show. His body appearing in the water tank leads one to think the escape trick played a part. It's only natural we suspect Himiko. She was the one performing the trick.
wasn't a trick. It was magic.
It's not the part you need to deny. You gotta tell us you're not the culprit.
Magic, huh? That's so cool. What a mysterious miracle. Now, did you kill Ryoma, Himiko? Atua will hear your confession.
I forgot I can move the camera around during these.
Stop it! There's no way any of that is true!
It's true, though. Himiko used the underwater escape trick to kill Ryoma.
I'm interested to hear how.
But I still don't have a clue how Himiko did the trick.
Great, okay, gotcha. Just throwing out the accusation.
There's no trick. That really was magic.
You know, maybe it really was magic.
Oh, stop it. If you don't reveal your trick now, then we'll vote you as the culprit.
That would not be, Don't think that would be very prudent, Maki.
Stop picking on Himiko! A cute tiny flower like her couldn't kill anyone!
We need, this is, you know, considering all of our lives are on the line, we need to be extra sure this is the right decision.
I get that you want to defend her, but that might be a bit much.
Alright, Shuichi. Here we go. Ooh, okay, here we go, here we go. Okay, water tank
Atua
trick,
has blessed me with an
most likely.
epiphany. The culprit used the underwater escape trick.
Okay, that's the slowdown button.
Pull off a sneaky switcheroo with Ryoma.
What's the... Okay, LB silencer. X is shoot. You'd think it'd be something like the trigger, but no, it's X. Okay, and then... Oh no, silencer is A.
After that, the time ran out. The tank above
Wait, no, it's not X.
Ryoma opened and piranhas came pouring out.
Oh, it's Y.
And he was eaten alive!
Eaten to bone by piranhas. Savage way to go.
No, that's wrong. The underwater escape was no trick, it's magic.
We heard you the first time, Titless. No one cares!
Raymo's body was eaten by the piranhas that fell into the tank. It's a fact, but that doesn't mean it was the cause of death.
Atua has blessed me with an epiphany. The culprit used the underwater escape trick
So that
to
one
pull
then.
off a sneaky switcheroo with Ryoma.
After that, the time ran out. The tank above Ryoma opened and piranhas came pouring out.
And he was eaten alive!
No, Y button, Y button, Y button, Y button. There we go. Okay.
Wrong!
No, Ryoma's death was not caused by the piranhas.
You know what? I think I was concentrating so much on trying to, well, one, the controls, because I just needed to remind myself. But I think I might have missed an opportunity to do the to do one of the lies. I think. What I was told is there was some kind of musical cue when you can do it or not. And it had something to do with voices during the music, I think. So that might have been a chance, but you know, I'm just gonna keep going. But that might have been one. But again, I'm not gonna pause or load or something. I'm just gonna, you know, because this is. What am I trying to say here? I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just gonna keep going.
The Monokuma file indicates the cause of death is drowning.
So it wasn't the piranhas then. He was drowned.
Ooh, I see. I haven't checked the Monokuma file yet, so that's news to me.
You lying little brat! Telling lies is what turns you into a degenerate male! So what? Ryoma drowned, Himiko changed places with him, and then the piranhas ate him, right?
No, Himiko only had 60 seconds to escape from the tank. Even if they changed places at the start of the show, that's insufficient time to drown someone.
If that is the case, then when did he drown?
Before the show started.
That's it! Ryoma was already drowned before the show started.
Agreed. Before being eaten by the piranhas, he made no attempt to escape the water. To be precise, he made no movements whatsoever.
Well, I'm glad you agree, Q. You could have said this earlier.
Yes. By that point, he had already joined the ranks of the dead. Could that mean his body was hidden until the culprit made it appear in the tank?
Hidden? Where?
On top of the piranhas.
The culprit would have had to hide the body near the tank and then show it during the act.
Easier said than done.
Was there a place on stage where the culprit could have hid the body? Oh wait, Himiko should know since she performed the underwater escape trick.
Himiko, why won't you just explain it to us?
'Cause it's magic.
No, maybe it really was magic.
Shut up.
Sorry, Gonta. I don't think you're gonna get through this one.
Himiko is committed to her act, but those who deal in dreams are oft liars.
Why is everyone still picking on Himiko? You're all worse than a drunk dad's ramblings. We should let him vent. After all, it's tough being the man of the house.
And we gotta figure out how the trick works to find where the body was hidden.
Who are you referring to, Tsumugi?
Hidden.
No, I don't understand.
But Himiko does not wish to tell us how she performed her act.
Then let's work together to reveal the secret behind Himiko's trick!
Man, Angie is just ruthless.
So, not real magic?
No, it was real magic. 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 Magic!
Well,
No! It's Himiko's curse! Her curses are really powerful!
I mean, she turned the screen blue, guys. I don't know. I mean, that's magic. We can't explain it any other way.
Aren't incantations usually more, complicated than that?
How did Himiko escape the water tank?
Probably with a water tank
Maybe she
trick.
just climbed out and no one noticed.
Nah, she definitely would have been caught.
Perhaps a mechanism was set up on the stage.
The curtain covering the tank was certainly suspicious.
What about that square pane of glass we found in the tank?
I want to know
Maybe
about
the
that
tank had
too.
a secret hatch.
It
There
Must
it is.
be real magic!
Yeah! Real escape magic!
Maybe there were two Himikos. And one of them was Tsumugi in disguise.
Nope.
Hey, my costumes aren't disguises.
She has the cosplay pox. Whatever it cospox.
How did Himiko escape the water tank?
What's the button to make it go
Maybe she just
fast?
slammed out and no one.
The B button, of course.
Nah, she definitely would have been caught.
Perhaps the mechanism was set up on the stage.
The curtain covering the tank was certainly suspicious.
What about that square in the tank?
Maybe the tank had a...
No, it's the Y button. Y button.
I agree.
I don't know why I keep wanting to press X.
Maki is correct. There was an escape hatch on that tank.
I see. So it did have one.
That's right. I discovered a similar tank in Himiko's lab. There was a panel on the side that could open. That was her escape.
Mind over strength! No! Your logic is all wrong, Shuichi.
What do you mean?
And you don't even know why you're wrong either. Typical degenerate male. Ah! I'll smash in your face with my fists of hot burning steel!
Okay, here we go.
The side of the tank being open doesn't
I forget this game too.
have anything to do with Himiko's escape. She didn't use an escape hatch. I know she didn't do that. And now, I'm gonna punch you!
It's very rude. Please don't do that.
Wait a second. Before you punch me, what makes you so sure she didn't?
Because if she escaped from a hatch in the tank, the water would have gushed out with her. There would have been water
Of course I hit X again.
everywhere.
I'll cut through your words.
Stop pressing X, me.
There was a reason the room wasn't flooded with water. The staircase that was attached to the water tank.
I feel like I'm psyching myself out. It's just because I haven't done this in a while, and so... Yeah.
Try to remember how the staircase was positioned. It was aligned perfectly with the tank's escape hatch, meaning the water tank was connected to the inside of the staircase.
Inside staircase. His body was in stairs?
Knowing that, it's clear how Himiko made her escape from underwater. There was a curtain covering the tank during the performance.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. I was confused why Gonta said that. Now I see. Okay.
Allowing Himiko to enter the staircase from the hatch undetected. Any water that spilled out would have simply funneled into the staircase.
So how do you get out from the staircase?
The staircase also has an escape hatch, one facing away from us. It's placed so that the water would not drain from the staircase.
In which case, a person could exit and leave water inside the staircase.
However, that person would be soaked, meaning that some trace should be left.
That would explain why there was a puddle around the stairs.
So when Himiko came out from the stairs, her wet clothes dripped water all over.
Ha ha, bitch! Caught you soaking wet and red-handed!
I mean, I feel bad.
Judging from Himiko's reaction, you hit it right on the bullseye.
This is kind of her whole identity, or something like that, and...
But Himiko's clothes should have been wet when she left the water tank.
clothes were definitely not wet.
Ah.
Of course. That's because my underwater escape wasn't a trick. It was magic.
I actually don't know. Changed her uniform.
That's it!
Oh, okay. That was pretty much a guess, actually.
It's because she changed her uniform.
I mean, we do have multiple sets of the same uniform back in our rooms.
The dormitory is stocked with uniforms.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you hide one behind the stage in advance?
Yeah, it seems simple enough.
I remember seeing Himiko go to the gym this morning, carrying a uniform and a towel.
Ah! Why would you say that?
I see. She had a towel too. She may not have had time to fully dry her hair. But her short hair and hat ensured we were none the wiser.
Himiko can't get wet, because her body repels water.
Yeah, sure.
Huh? Like a duck?
Himiko, come on. Give it up already.
Fine. You win. It's just like you said. The water tank and staircase both have mechanisms.
So I was correct.
But that doesn't mean I used them. I didn't need them, because I used my magic.
Again with the magic crap. Were you dropped on your head as a kid?
The only consolation is I'm hopefully, this will lead you to being exonerated rather than actually being guilty. At least that's the hope for Himiko.
Now that we understand how the trick was performed, let us move on.
Yes, let us proceed. Where did the culprit hide Ryoma's body? From our discussion earlier, his body could have been in the space inside the staircase.
But that's where Himiko would escape from, right?
So Himiko went in the stairs with the body? What kind of kinky shit is she into?
That seems unlikely. There isn't enough space for two people to fit in there.
Yeah, the stairs are pretty cramped. It'd be hard to fit even Ryoma and Himiko in there. Who says they went in together? She could have made the switch as she was leaving the tank. At the same time, she could have pulled out the body from inside the stairs. That way, she'd have room to put herself in there. See how easy that is?
At least at the outset, I don't see anything actually too crazy with that.
I think that explains how Himiko changed places with Ryoma's body.
The only thing that I would object to is that when it would probably be Gonta's testimony, how he didn't see Ryoma's body before the piranhas were in, and if this is the explanation, Ryoma's body should have seen it.
Wait a minute! Why did you automatically assume it was Himiko?
Who else but Himiko could have done it?
Okay, so the fact that Angie is I'm getting a bit more suspicious of Angie just from how relentless she's being. But I could also believe that it's just Angie being Angie.
Angie, you spent more time with Himiko than any of us, so why are you accusing her?
You may think you're protecting Himiko, but what if she really is the culprit? We'll all die, and it will be all your fault. Atua will lose precious devotees. Are you okay with that, Tenko?
I'm totally fine with that.
Wow. I mean, that is pretty extreme.
I don't care what anyone says. Himiko would murder someone. That's what I believe more than anything.
See, I sort of want to think that about Kaito too. That's why I'm really worried if he ends up being the guy.
I want to believe in her, no matter what. If I can't do that, then I'd rather just die.
Tenko, you got really attached to Himiko very, very quickly, considering the situation we're in. But, you know, again, this is an extremely stressful situation we've all found ourselves in, and everyone has their own way of coping with that. And so, clearly for Tenko, she latched on to Himiko, and that's kind of been her, what would it be? Like her anchor, that's not right. Her buoy, something she could cling on to and keeps her afloat, even in this crazy situation. Now, one could say whether or not that's reasonable, but I think I can understand it, at least. I mean, we saw that similarly with, and I think I mentioned it a couple episodes back. I remembered his name. In Danganronpa 1, there was Mondo. He was the ultimate biker guy. And I can't remember the other guy's name. Did it start with a T? The ultimate moral compass. I can't remember his name. No, can't remember. But yeah, even though it didn't seem very likely, they were able to form a bond relatively quickly. And then, of course, when, you know, we saw what happened next, and how you know, when that, I mean, I can spoil that, right? We've all played Danganronpa 1. If you're watching this, you have to have played the other Danganronpa games, right? Okay, so, I mean, if you haven't, skip ahead a minute or so. When Mondo passed on, then his friend that he had just made, we saw how devastated he was. And so, yeah, I can sort of believe Tenko would be absolutely devastated. And I think even in that trial, he was the only one who refused. He didn't vote for Mondo. He voted for someone else, I think. So I could see Tenko doing a very similar thing here.
So until this body takes its final breath, I'm gonna keep believing in Himiko.
The only one who could have switched out Ryoma's body is
Gonta's
Himiko herself.
When Himiko was escaping the tank, she dragged out the body hidden in the stairs and simply switched places with it.
Are you telling me you saw that happen?
No one could have seen that. It would have occurred in the middle of the show, when the tank was covered with a curtain.
So basically, no one saw anything.
I didn't do it, I swear.
Okay, it was probably that one.
Ryoma's corpse wasn't in the staircase.
Quit lying, you donkey-lipped con artist! She's not lying! She's not a con artist, and she doesn't have donkey lips!
The only one who could switch out Ryoma's body is herself. When
Himiko was escaping the tank, she dragged out the body hidden in the stairs and simply switched places with it.
Are you telling me you saw that happen?
No one could have seen that. It would have occurred in the middle of the show, when the tank was covered with a curtain.
So basically, no one saw anything.
There we go.
Someone did see inside the tank. It was Gonta. Gonta had climbed onto the stage and was looking into the tank from above. Isn't that right, Gonta?
Yeah, Gonta saw down into tank, but saw no one in there.
No one was in there?
Yeah, no one. Guess that clue no good, huh?
No, that's actually a great clue. Because if Ryoma's body was hidden inside the staircase,
Can I? I'm gonna make the voices go a bit higher. Hopefully that's not too loud for everyone.
Himiko would have had to pull him out before she went inside. There certainly wasn't enough room in the staircase for both of them. But that means, if the tank was empty when Gonta looked, Ryoma's body must not have been hidden in the staircase.
What if they squeezed into that space with Ryoma's body to avoid getting caught?
She had no need to worry about us witnessing her at that point, for the entire stage was hidden behind a curtain. To all but Gonta, anyway.
Then the culprit never would have considered hiding inside the staircase with the body. Entering the staircase after moving the body is much faster, and seems more rational too.
Then Ryoma's body wasn't hidden in the stairs?
Someone better say where the fucking body was hidden, or I'm gonna start cutting throats!
Pretty sure I know. Piranha
Where
tank.
were you hiding Ryoma's body?
It wasn't really in the stairs, was it?
After all, there was only enough space for Himiko.
Well, how about behind the curtain?
If there was a way to enter the tank from there, then it would be plausible.
Maybe
Maybe
that.
the body was in the tank all along. But we just couldn't see it.
Impossible. You'd need top-notch visual effects to pull that off.
And what of the tank containing the piranhas?
No way! If you put a body in there, the piranhas would have eaten it way before we saw it.
But if the body and piranhas were separated, then it wouldn't have been devoured, correct?
Where were you hiding Ryoma's body?
It wasn't really in the stairs, was it?
After all,
There was only enough space for
Himiko.
If there was a way to enter the tank from there, then
it would be possible. Maybe the body was in the tank all along, but we just couldn't see it.
impossible. You'd need top.
Visual effects to pull that off.
And
What of the tank?
containing the piranhas?
Okay.
No way! If you put a body in there, the piranhas would have eaten it way before we saw it.
But if the body and
No. Okay. Oh, the glass pane. Okay. I see. Okay. I get it. I get it now. I get it.
Where
I
were you
understand.
hiding Ryoma's body?
It wasn't really in the stairs. After all, there was only enough space for Himiko.
If there was a way to enter the tank from there,
Then it would be possible.
Okay, totally understand
The
now.
body was in the tank all along, but we just couldn't see it. Impossible. You need top-notch visual effects to pull that off. And what of the tank?
containing the piranhas?
No way! If
You put a body in there.
the piranhas would have eaten it way before we saw it.
But if the body and piranhas were separated,
Okay.
I agree.
Consent. I feel like they should put agree rather than consent. Yeah,
Hio's
okay.
hypothesis is correct. The
I see.
body and the piranhas were
I
separated.
understand. So, okay. My original thought was that the piranhas were just so condensed that they couldn't really move, and so Ryoma was placed on top. They couldn't really maneuver to eat him. But that's still kind of iffy. So I can totally see this. So where did the pain come from? It was actually on top. of the piranha thing, and he was laying on top of it. And so when the whole, when the, it must have been, the pain must have fit within the tank rather than over top the whole part of it. Because presumably the piranhas fell through and the pain went down with it, as well as Ryoma, who was on top of the glass pane. I think that's it.
This was accomplished using the square glass pane found in the tank.
Just as I thought.
Kyo, I feel like you could be a lot more helpful than you are. You ask good questions. I'll give you that much. But you always, every time we give an answer, you just said, ah, yes, just as I thought.
Using that glass pane as a divider, a safe space could be created in the tank.
Okay. So it wasn't on top. Oh, so maybe there weren't even more piranhas than we thought originally. Maybe they were just all condensed into the side. Ah. That could explain that.
It is in such a space that the body could be stored, separated from the piranhas.
That would be better too, because if Ryoma was laying on top, I feel like that would be much easier for people to see. So that makes some more sense, actually.
Then that means Ryoma's body was hidden in the piranha tank the whole time!
So Ryoma's body fell into the water tank with the piranhas?
Gonta knew it!
What is it, Gonta?
Gonta was above stage when piranhas fall. That's why Gonta sees something no one else could. When piranhas fell, Gonta sees some big thing fall into water tank with them.
Right when the timer hit 0, the buzzer went off. And then... the suspended tank swung open, and the murky water and shadowy shapes inside fell in the water tank.
No. Now that Gonta think about it, Gonta maybe see Ryoma's body.
When the piranhas dropped from the tank, I thought I saw something bigger drop as well. The water tank on the bottom is made completely out of glass, correct? You can see what is happening through the glass. Can you really hide a body in the tank?
Even in murky water, a dead body would still be visible in a glass tank.
Yeah, but wasn't it that the piranhas block the view?
Unless a certain something was used to obscure the body.
A certain something?
We all agree that the glass pane was used to separate the body from the piranhas, correct? Well, that method has the added benefit of hiding the body from view.
Yeah? How could you hide a body like that?
Kokichi has been pretty quiet for a while now, hasn't he? This one, I think.
This is it!
Yeah.
It was the piranhas. The piranhas were obscuring the body.
Huh? The piranhas?
That's right. Remember what Angie said during the investigation?
They increased that significantly? I didn't know piranhas fuck like rabbits.
It seemed that way, but it wasn't that the actual number of piranhas increased. The glass pane divided the tank nearly in half, right? The piranhas got crowded together, making it look like there were more of them.
The more densely the piranhas are packed, the harder it is to see past them.
Because of that, it was difficult to see the body hidden in the tank.
That glass pane was the lid from the piranha tank. to detach that lid, so it's no wonder they used it as a divider.
Glad to see that Himiko is, she's regained enough spirit to talk to us at least.
Gee, thanks for telling us that useless detail.
Okay, thanks for that, Kokichi.
What the heck are you saying? That detail was super useful! Sure, the lid looks a little big, but if you set it diagonally, it would fit perfectly. Nice job, Himiko! Your explanation was awesome!
This much evidence? It seems like the body was definitely in the piranha tank.
Congrats, Himiko! Now there should be no reason for anyone to suspect you.
I mean, not necessarily. I think you could still suspect her since it's still her magic show.
Really?
But I mean, I don't.
Yeah, because if you didn't switch places with the body, then you couldn't have killed him.
It only means we now have other suspects. You are not cleared of suspicion just yet.
Okay, but still, that's way better!
That's wonderful news, Himiko! Atua is happy for you.
Apologize, Angie! You and your Atua better tell Himiko you're sorry right now!
Atua is sleeping. He went to bed angry because you all doubted him.
What a petty-ass god!
No, it's okay. We shouldn't be mad at Angie. We should be mad at this class trial. At this killing game.
I mean, that sounds fair enough.
Oh, Himiko! Bless your sweet, kind heart.
That's what Atua said anyway.
Oh.
What?
It's too bad that the handsome god went to bed angry, though.
Himiko's still brainwashed! But I'm not giving up just yet. This is gonna be a breeze. Great, now what are we gonna do? We're back to square one.
And why are we back to square one?
Because any of us could still be the culprit. Jeez! You flunked out of Tard School or something?
Nuh-uh. Not everyone. We can narrow it down to whoever doesn't have an alibi yet.
Eh? What alibi?
I guess I should have known a dumb whore pig like you wouldn't understand. So let me explain.
Oof. Hit her with her own medicine.
Who you calling a dumb pig?
If there's this much evidence, then there's no mistake the body was hidden in the piranha tank. But for someone to plant the body in there with such limited time is pretty tricky.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm not actually sure right now. Before nighttime then?
That's it!
Okay, yeah.
It was done yesterday, before nighttime.
Ding, ding, ding! The ultimate detective gets it right again!
Oh, wait. How do you know it was before nighttime yesterday?
Stop asking me dumbass questions. It could have been solved with the process of elimination. Jeez. Fine. I'll explain it to the itty-bitty pea-brained bitchlet.
The bitchlet?
First, the gym was closed during nighttime, so no one could have entered.
Because if you try to enter the gym at night, it'll go off.
You talking about my butthole?
No, she means the alarm!
After nighttime passed, morning came. But hiding the body before the show was...
Impossible! Himiko and I were waiting in front of the gym before the morning announcement.
Which leaves only one possibility. It was done before nighttime yesterday. Anyone who doesn't get this is just as stupid as the whore bitchlet over there.
I mean, normally I don't approve of such crass language, but in this case, it is, you know, turnabout is fair play, because Miyu just does not have a filter, so she's getting some of it herself.
So the culprit placed Ryoma's corpse in the piranha tank before nighttime yesterday? Which means he was also killed during that time frame.
Yay! Now we know what time the crime happened, right?
I still don't really get it, though. Can we narrow down the time of death a bit more?
Oh my goodness. This one?
This is it! If we can find out who last saw Ryoma alive, we can narrow down the time of death. Hirumi, you were asking everyone when they had last seen him, right?
Yes, Gonta was the last person who saw Ryoma.
What? Really?
And when was the last time Gonta saw Ryoma?
When Gonta was inviting everyone to insect meet and greet, so... Gonta think that was maybe 8 p.m.?
If he was last seen at 8 p.m. and was killed before nighttime officially began...
Then we can assume the crime took place between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night.
Okay. When does nighttime officially... Does it begin at 10? I mean, unless we're gonna... I think this is... I can see a loophole here, and this goes back to that thing with the rules. Where yes, if it could be the case if it's a living person, the alarm goes off. But what if it were just a dead person? Although we're just talking about the murder right now, not necessarily when the body was put in there.
So all we must do is find someone with no alibi for that time period, yes?
It's gonna be Maki or Kaito.
Simple enough. After all, most of us were detained by Gonta then.
If I recall correctly, the only people that weren't there besides Ryoma...
That would be the four of us. Myself, Kaito, Miu, and also Maki.
And Kokichi saw Kurumi and Miu.
Well, Kirumi, you would tell the truth, even if it screwed you over.
I do this for everyone. It is my duty to unveil the truth, so I do not care if people suspect me.
Oh, beautiful! Your spirit of self-sacrifice is just too beautiful!
I will also say this. The crime took place between 8 and 10 o'clock at night, and I was at the gym during that time. But I was only there for about 5 minutes.
Why would you even say that, though? You're tying a noose around your neck, you know.
I don't care if it was 5 seconds. It's way too suspicious that you were alone in the gym. I think the cleaning lady here is the culprit. You killed Ryoma, didn't you?
No, I don't think so.
It's too soon to tell. We should hear what everyone has to say, right?
Fuck that noise!
But Miu, you don't have an alibi for when the crime occurred either, do you?
You think I'm suspicious? I don't even know where the gym is.
Doesn't telling such obvious lies make you more suspicious, Miu?
The other two without alibis are Kaito and Maki. Let us hear your testimonies.
I was in my research lab the whole time. I didn't go to the gym.
But that cannot be proven, can it?
What about Kaito? Only murderers grow out creepy facial hair like mustaches and goatees.
Oh, he's got a point.
What? My goatee's not creepy. It gives me a glamorous celebrity vibe.
And now I think he's got you, Kaito. Only murderers have goatees. I mean, that's just a fact.
Anyway, among those four, the culprit must be the one who doesn't have an alibi.
I apologize, but given the circumstances, we have no choice but to suspect you.
Suspect who? Who's the culprit?
Wait up! Why are you guys suspicious of me? I've been helping the whole time!
Oh, wait. I remember now. I do have an alibi.
Oh, I'm sensing this is gonna be a mass panic debate.
You will see whether or not I am suspicious as the trial progresses.
I'm not the
Way I'm the
culprit.
culprit!
Okay. Loud voice dialogue. Uh-huh. Silencer. I'm thinking this might be Kokichi's testimony here. Yeah.
I was running away from Gonta!
What is your
Tried
alibi?
hiding in the classroom.
When I was running from
I even tried hiding in the girls' bathroom.
Whoa, okay.
Until they left with Gonta.
What's Monkey's
That was
alibi?
5
Then
minutes
right before
before 9
nighttime, I got tired and fell asleep.
Did you really leave the gym at 9 p.m.? Are you sure you did not stay at the gym?
No, in my own room! Jeez.
Okay. Think I know what to do.
I
I
have
was
an
running
alibi.
away from Gonta!
What is your
Tried
alibi?
hiding in the
5
classroom.
minutes.
When I was running from
I even
Gonta,
tried hiding in the
others
girls'
were with me.
bathroom.
things got a little heated if kept
Until
my
they
brother.
left with
Let me know,
Gonta.
pervert.
What's Monkey's
That was
alibi?
5
Then
minutes
right before
before 9
nighttime, I got tired and fell asleep.
Did you really leave the gym at 9 p.m.? Are you sure you did not stay at the gym?
No, in my own room! Jeez.
I heard it!
That was close.
No, I think Kirumi is telling the truth. Kokichi's story proves it.
Of course, Kokichi didn't. He did not elect to tell us this information himself. I mean, in the trial, he didn't offer this information during the trial.
Kokichi met Kirumi at 9 p.m., and they were together until nighttime.
Gonta went to the gym to catch Himiko and Angie 5 minutes before 9 o'clock. After I left Gonta's lab, I ran into Kirumi. I'm pretty sure Kirumi stayed at the gym 5 minutes till 9 o'clock.
This information could have been told to us beforehand.
Sorry, forgot. I definitely didn't keep it a secret to make the trial more interesting.
Kurumi, you could have mentioned it too. I mean, I don't know why you didn't.
Forgot? It seems far more plausible that you were telling another lie.
Unlike robots, we meatbags can't pull out our memories from our hard drive.
Was that supposed to offend me? Your irrationality fills me with pity.
If I am the culprit, that would mean I killed Ryoma within 5 minutes, transported him to the gym, and hid him in the piranha tank. This seems highly unlikely.
If you called Ryoma out to the gym and killed him there, you wouldn't need to move him. All you would have to do is hide him in the piranha tank.
Gonta was in the midst of heading to the gym to capture Angie. Are you claiming I took advantage of that and called Ryoma for a rendezvous at the gym?
That'd be pretty difficult. We should probably look at other possibilities.
Maybe someone snuck into the gym while Kirumi and I were busy talking.
The only ones capable of that are the other three with no alibis.
Mew, Kaito, and Maki! Ah, you're including me too?
But there's actually one person we can rule out of the suspects list.
Right? There's one person who's totally not suspicious. Say who it is already.
It's gonna be Mew.
That's it! Kokichi, you're talking about Mew, right?
What? Mew?
Yeah, you can take her off the list. She actually has an alibi.
Booyah! Suck it, nerds!
Wait a sec. Since when does she have an alibi?
If you compare everyone's statements, there's no other possibility.
Uh-huh. Yeah, half-naked girl in her underwear, yep.
A girl walking around half naked.
Who else could it be but the horny exhibitionist Mew?
We can't just jump to conclusions like that. He just saw a shadow, right?
I mean, Kaito... Man, you're not gonna say it was you, are you?
That could have been anyone walking around in women's underwear.
Okay.
Even me.
Yeah, well, okay, there we go. Well, we all have our hobbies. Certainly, I can understand if, you know, this is a situation of life and death, so when it might be preferable to admit to this rather than, you know, murder. So I understand.
That'd be a whole different issue.
No, it's Mew, without a doubt. Mew and Gonta's statements prove it.
Yep, he did mention it.
I see. It sounds like Gonta got an eyeful,
What? Why the heck were you in your underwear, Mew?
Oh, well, 'cause, you know, I'm
Pretty stacked, so...
I figured I'd take my clothes off so Gonta would be too flustered to touch me.
I mean, it worked.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, you cockroaches! Anyway,
Oh my.
the blood rushed to both of Gonta's heads because he got super embarrassed.
Mew was in her underwear, and Gonta got weird feeling.
Should I be? I was gonna say I'm surprised they showed us.
So Gonta ran away.
What is it? A CG of it? But should I be surprised?
Well, when you got the body of a goddess, it's only natural to want to flaunt it.
Considering some of the fan service scenes in previous Danganronpa games, maybe I shouldn't be surprised.
I show my panties to the boys all the time. And I mean all the time. So you're welcome, Gonta. Think of me during your next tug session.
Most of that was unintelligible nonsense, but it would seem that Mew has an actual alibi.
Yep, it took a while, but at least we got everyone's alibis cleared up. We should remember all of this in case we need to recall these events again.
Alibis for yesterday has been recorded in the monopad.
That leaves Kaito and Maki as the only ones with no alibis.
Let me just look at that real quick. Okay. All right, now I think I'm gonna call it here for the episode. I'm pretty sure most trials have a kind of halfway point where you save. I'm not sure how close I am to that, but I'm gonna call it here for now, mostly because I just want to take a break, actually. And, you know, considering the pre-trial stuff, this is already a pretty long episode, so we'll call it here, because I do think this is probably where the trial is about to take a turn. Now that we've gotten all the obvious alibis and we got rid of the opening stuff with Himiko, now I think we're going to start chasing the real culprit. So, yeah, so I think I'm confident in calling it here. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. All right, yeah, okay, I've been The Worm. This has been Danganronpa V3. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time. It's just going to be a short break for me, but you'll have to wait for the next episode. Pretty good so far. Nothing really unexpected, all things considered. I'm curious if it's going to go off in a direction I totally don't expect, or if it's going to be going along with what I think. I guess we'll find out next time. Bye-bye.